What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? So, this is going to be the first video of what I'm calling fitness or training, personal training for Jiu-Jitsu. Um, right now, I'm on the stationary recumbent bike, warming up my legs, and then I'm going to get on the machine over here in a second, warm up my arms, shoulders. Uh, but I'm just kind of going through the motions right now, really just getting blood in the knees and opening up the hips and things of that nature, just getting blood flowing, and that's pretty much it. But the purpose of this routine that I'm starting for jiu-jitsu, for those who don't know, I just started jiu-jitsu. I've been training at Gracie Baja Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Alabama, in Greystone, Alabama, and it's fun. I'm loving it. It's outstanding, actually. The principles, the actual family-oriented environment that they've created, provided the brotherly, sisterly bonds and togetherness is just outstanding. But what I've come to find out, just doing different classes, rolling and stuff, going through training, is that I need to work on my flexibility. I need to refashion my workouts around this type of activity, and this is why I say bodybuilding doesn't necessarily mean, you know. Getting on stage to be a competitive bodybuilder and things of that nature. Bodybuilding is a term that really speaks to what you're doing for your body to build it for the activity that you're going to be participating in. That could be cycling, tennis, basketball, football, track and field, competitive stage competitions for bodybuilding, or jiu-jitsu, judo, whatever. Because you're basically, as the word indicates, you're building your body, and building your body for whatever purpose you have: cross country, running, sprinting, whatever, what have you. So I'm building down my body for the purposes of still good health, and obviously in general, but building my body for competitive jiu-jitsu and self-defense jiu-jitsu. So that means I'm going to be working on more flexibility, increased stamina, which I have very good endurance, good at stamina, muscle endurance, and just overall endurance, stamina in general. But I want to increase it. So I'm going to be bringing videos like this. I'm going to try to do it every week, at least twice a month, but I'm going to try to do it every week. Also, we're in a new, different location. Get in, I can record, I can do what I need to do and get out. So that's why I'm here. And actually, I'm filming this on July 4th. So here early in the morning, just gonna get it done. But like I said, the main purpose of this video and the videos that have come after this is to kind of show you my mindset around jiu-jitsu and why I need to do this particular exercise for jiu-jitsu, why I need to do this particular stretch, why I'm doing it, how it's going to relate to different jiu-jitsu moves, or situations that you might get into if it's in your guard, if it's in your half guard, if you're in a certain hold, or what have you, how it's going to help you in those circumstances. But yeah, that's what we're here to do. Get going here in a second. I've been on the bike, I guess, 5 minutes now. I'll probably stay on here for another 5 minutes and then move on to what I'd like to just call is the arm bike. And warm these shoulders and stuff up. And then we're going to jump into a little bit of stretching and go into some different exercises. See y'all here shortly. We're back at it. We on what I like to call the arm bike, as you see. It's just a simple bike where I like to say it really probably the best exercise for your elbows, your shoulders, your chest, and your back for warming them up. Most physical therapy offices is going to have this machine, some type of variation of it, especially for people that's rehabbing shoulder injuries and things of that nature. I think this bike is also very beneficial for strengthening the rotator's cuff and just overall the shoulder and elbows in general. People that's having issues with tendonitis, stuff like that, shoulder injuries. I think this is the bike everyone should be using. If your gym don't have this, it's kind of crazy. Most gyms I've gone to have had it. This gym that I currently work out at, as well as Lifetime and places like that. But this is real good for opening up the shoulders and warming up just the upper body in general. As you see, I'm kind of got like a little twisting motion. That's more exaggerated, but I have a light twisting motion, which obviously means that the core has been engaged a good bit, obliques and things of that nature. Every time I push forward, that's kind of pushing and working on the chest a little bit. And when I start to rotate, that kind of starts working, the back a little bit. But I think doing this machine, whatever level is comfortable for you. Right now, I got it on a very low level of 5. Now, I don't think you have to be on this machine for a long period of time. I think this would be a great machine for cardio because you can increase the speed, go at your own pace that you want to set at. I think when you're doing something, especially with your arms like this, both arms on either side of the heart, the heart is right in the center of the body. I personally, from my experience, have seen that it gets your heart rate up faster than on just a recumbent bike, where you're just paddling along with your legs. I think this gets your heart rate up much faster than that. But yeah, I'm just doing this to continue with my warm up. As you saw before, I started off with recumbent bike, warming up my knees, my hips, and things of that nature. Basically, the lower body, get blood flow in those areas. And now I moved on to the upper body, getting blood flow into the shoulders, elbows, chest, back, things of that nature. And then we're going to go into some exercises, some stretches, but some exercises. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to explain why I'm doing a particular exercise. And really, it's funny, I'm the type of person that analyzes everything. So while I'm rolling, while I'm in class doing jiu-jitsu, I'm analyzing everything. I'm like, okay, what could I do to get out of this hole? What could I do to grab this hole? What could I do to control the individual? From top position, from mounted position, from the back position, from the guard position, half guard, what have you. I'm analyzing all that. And I'm thinking also, okay, if I'm in this position, what exercise would be beneficial for me to lock in this submission, to break out of this submission attempt, to put me in a better position to achieve a certain submission, or to put myself in a good position to escape a certain submission. So that's kind of what I think about while I'm doing different jiu-jitsu moves and rolling with different opponents. And then we know when we roll with somebody, each individual that you roll with is going to have a different type of game. Uh, some might be more flexible, some might be less flexible, some might be stronger, some might be a little less strong and utilize different tactics. So you kind of got to be able to be diverse with that. Um, so that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're about to get started on. But the thing with jiu-jitsu, I think, is very fluent. You know, you learn to contract when your opponent or the person you're rolling with, the teammate, expands, and when they expand, you contract. It's kind of like, obviously what Bruce Lee said in one of his interviews or whatever. It's like being water or whatever, for real. Because I think jiu-jitsu is one of those self-defense arts, martial arts that's very fluent, and it's gentle in the sense that it doesn't necessarily require brute strength. You think of like karate, something like that. You see them breaking bricks and boards and stuff, and that ultimately, I mean, that's conditioning, yes, but that still ties into strength, power, brute strength. And jiu-jitsu is not really required. I've rolled with a few younger guys, 16, 18 years old, much younger than me, and honestly, they did not have the strength that I have. And everybody here knows I've been bodybuilding, powerlifting. I've been doing a lot of strength oriented sports. I'm very strong. I have a very strong bench press, very strong squat, very strong deadlift. I'm just very strong in weightlifting. But and don't get me wrong, in jiu-jitsu, size and strength does matter. Don't let anybody tell you anything otherwise. Size and strength matters in everything that you do in life. It's a lot to think that it doesn't matter. But in jiu-jitsu, if the technique is properly done, that gives the person that may be smaller or weaker an opportunity to defeat the stronger, bigger person. But understand it gives you the opportunity. It doesn't automatically mean you are going to win. There is no guarantees in winning in a fight or a competition just because your technique's better or because you're stronger. A lot of variables has to play into the mix for a proper win in a self-defense situation or in a sports situation. But anyway, I've rolled with younger guys, 16, 18-year-old guys that I told them while we're rolling, and I do that with everybody that I start to roll with, that I've rolled with, say for the first time, that I'm real strong and I'm going to rely on it because I'm strong. I'm going to obviously rely on my strengths. But so I tell them to utilize their technique because that way I can see also that technique does work against strength and power. And also I can learn what I can utilize moving forward in my game. Okay, I can utilize my strength with this technique, which in turn is going to give me an upper hand or advantage over somebody else. If I have a certain level of technique with a certain level of strength, that's obviously going to play in my advantage. It's going to be very beneficial for me. So that's why we're going to do this. I think from my research and stuff, a lot of people think in jiu-jitsu, working out and things of that nature is not needed. Well, I think that's a bad way of looking at it. I think it is needed. Obviously, you want to keep flexibility and stamina and stuff like that, but I think the more strength you have, the more power output, and the more muscle endurance and stamina that you have, that's going to better you overall and your jiu-jitsu journey. But we're finna run over here in the other room and start doing a couple of things with the dumbbells. Be right back. going on? We're back. We're going to be doing a variation of shoulder press. We're going to be warming up. Got some dumbbells here. These are very small dumbbells. They're 8 pounds, so they're nothing heavy. And this is obviously going to be the warm up. But the variation we're going to be doing is we're going to be pressing up and out like this. And we're just going to do a few reps of this. And the main purpose for this is to increase the overall stability in the press. Traditionally, we do a press straight overhead, just like this, which is good, and we are going to do those. But when you do this, this forces you to stabilize the weight from falling down to the side. And it also brings into play other muscle fibers throughout the shoulders, like your basically internal, external rotators muscles. And what this does is, when you're in say in a hold, we call the omoplata, and basically it's hard to demonstrate this without someone actually initiating the remove on me, but your hand is in this position, like this, not necessarily straight up and down, but out in this position. And what they're doing is they're going to bring the hand in, and then they're going to lift it up like this. And when you do that, that creates power or leverage on the shoulder, which increases the pain, and that's what causes you to tap. That is basically like a key lock or something like that on the plot. But the main way of getting out of that is punching out, pressing out. So that's why we're doing this exercise, to press out. And what this does is strengthens the shoulders, yes, and also the tricep, because this is more of a compound exercise. But doing that is going to help you have muscle strength, muscle endurance, as well as the strength to get out of it. Because when they're doing this omoplata and they're bringing your arm down, bringing the elbow in closer to the sides, and then twisting it up, the person that's doing it is utilizing both of their arms, both of their hands. It's basically an over-under type of grip on that one arm. So you need a certain level of strength, a certain level of power to do the punch out, because you're not punching straight up, you're more so punching outward like this. Because what you're trying to do is, obviously, you're trying to get out of the hold or the submission attempt, or submission hold, and you're also trying to get that arm away from them, so that way you can regather it and do whatever you need to do to try to move on to get into your best dominant position. But doing an exercise like this, it's going to aid in having that strength and that endurance, the ability to punch out of it. And obviously we're using the dumbbells because they're free moving, because they're free weights. They're free moving, and we want to make sure both arms are equally as strong. Now, if we was doing a regular press overhead, just like this, even obviously using heavier weights, you are going to want to do it straight up and down, because you don't want excess weight out past your closer to your center line, because you're stronger obviously here than you are here. So when we use heavier weights to press up and down like that, that's still going to strengthen the shoulder obviously, and that's going to still help you be able to punch out. But you want to do something like this in the early stages of your workout, before you move up to your heavier weights, so that you're used to this motion, this punching out motion, to get out of that particular submission move. But like I said, that's going to give you strength, that's going to help you get power. Those was 8 pounds that I used mainly for the demonstration. And I would say, depending on your strength level and experience with exercises like this, you can probably work your way up to maybe 20 pounds. But after that, I think you need to just go back to the standard shoulder press. Now, we're also doing them standing, and you can do them sitting, but I prefer to do it standing for the simple fact that when you're standing more upright, your core is going to be more engaged. And the more your core engaged, the more your core is engaged. Um, that's going to help you overall, even when you're rolling, whenever you're doing any type of stand up or anything like that, or you're standing up before y'all go to the mats and start to do your jiu-jitsu submission style and stuff like that. It's going to help you stay upright. That's going to help you control the match for the takedown and things of that nature. Because everything comes through your core. You want to have a strong core. Even when you're on the ground, you want to have a strong core. That way you can do the necessarily raise it up to grab the back and do different moves and stuff like that, the submission attempts. But I'm gonna run up here and grab heavier weight and see how that feels. We're gonna move up to the 10s, and we're just gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna press outward. Just like that. And I'm traditionally, right now, I'm just pretty much doing, examples of this. But traditionally, you want to stay around reps. I would say 15 to 20. The reason I say 15 to 20 is because anything over 7 reps is going to be a hypertrophy. That's going to put you in a hypertrophy zone, meaning that you're building lean, new muscle tissue. Anything below 7 goes more for strength and power. But because we're doing this for jiu-jitsu, and you might be in a match that's taking 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatnot, depending on the federation that you're doing the sport jiu-jitsu in. Or you might be in a real life situation in a fight where there's really no time limit. The time limit is how long it takes to get the job done. And obviously in a real life fight, you want to get the job done as fast as possible. That's why we train, in various martial arts, regardless if it's jiu-jitsu, karate, what have you. You want to be efficient enough in your technique and your skill to get whatever job done immediately, fast. The longer you're in a fight situation, the longer possibility you put yourself in the area of getting hurt. So you don't want to do that. But because we're doing, say, 15 to 20, that's going to give us more muscle endurance, obviously the hypertrophy, building lean muscle tissue, and that's going to also still keep you in the strong or the strength and power mode, because obviously you went through 5 to 7 to 15 to 20. And one thing when I'm rolling with the guys, regardless of what belts I'm rolling with, I've rolled all the way from guys that are white belts, one stripe white belts, all the way up to black belts, my professors. And I tell them all the same thing. I don't get tired. My muscle strength and endurance never runs out. And I'm going to utilize my strength. So utilize your technique. And they very quickly realize that that is the truth. Because when I was training for bodybuilding competitions and powerlifting competitions, I trained high volume. I trained very, very high repetitions. My grip strength is very, very powerful. I mean, if you're doing deadlifts of 600 pounds, plus, you've got to have strong grip. There's just no way around that. When you're doing heavy rows, when you're doing heavy lat pull downs, things of that nature, it's going to build strong strength. It's going to build very high endurance. So, and I'm very athletic. I mean, I played football, ran track, played soccer, I played basketball. I mean, all the sports. I did all that. So I'm athletic and I'm strong. So you want to utilize your strengths to the best of your ability, and once you add more technique and knowledge to your mind or whatnot, and you're able to apply and utilize it, that makes you more dangerous, makes you more of a threat in competition or in general self-defense. So we're going to move on to the next exercise, which is going to be a row machine right over here, and we're going to talk about why we do that. So we've moved over here to seated row machine. We're going to be utilizing the bottom grip here, and then we'll transition to the top grip, working different areas of the back. Um, this exercise I really love. I mean, I've always loved doing back exercises, but one reason I think it's beneficial for jiu-jitsu is we do a lot of collar grabs and things of that nature. I think if you have a very powerful, strong back, everything else is going to follow behind it. Your arms, everything else, because you can't really work your back or anything upper body for that matter, other than abs and things of that nature, just abs really, your core, without utilizing your arms and obviously your hands, your grip. So the stronger your grips are, the stronger your arms are, the stronger your back. I think in jiu-jitsu is very, very beneficial, because I've noticed a lot of times when if guys are in my close guard or something, they're trying to break free. If I don't want them to go anywhere, they're not going anywhere, because I just grab the collar and I bring them back to me. And when I do that, I'm able to readjust my feet. I'm able to either relock in my guard, or I'm able to basically, for lack of better words, manhandle them to whatever direction or side that I want them on, so I can start, hipping out, or doing a hip escape, or putting my, feet on the hip or whatever, and move to particular positions. See, I think overall, the stronger you are, allows you to have more control over yourself and your opponent. And if you're strong enough to really overpower them to the point where you just destroy their will, then you automatically have the upper hand. Because, and I'm going to start on this set here, because if you can destroy someone's will to continue the fight, be it self-defense, be it competition, that automatically gives you the upper hand, because ultimately fighting is a more mental thing than it is physical. It becomes mental when you say, okay, I am going to engage with this person in a physical confrontation, be it competition or self-defense. It's like, Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan, so they get punched in the face. Things of that nature, when you think about that, a person has to say, okay, I am going to engage this person in the fight, and they have to have a certain level of confidence in themselves to go through with that thought of, I'm going to engage this person in the fight. So I think if you put yourself in a position where you are able to outpower, you have a greater level of strength, a greater level of endurance, a greater level of muscle strength, and stamina, that gives you an incredible upper hand. And once you combine that with proper technique and training in those techniques, I think it's just common sense and pure logic that you're going to have a stronger game by being stronger physically, obviously mentally as well. You got to have the mental fortitude to do anything physical. But once you break a person's spirit and make them question themselves, am I going to be able to pass this person's guard? Am I going to be able to lock in this submission? There's been times where I've allowed people to get me in the omoplata or whatever, and I just did it just because, that's the thing about jiu-jitsu. It's great because once you tap out, we have a certain level of respect for each other. That means, okay, you're giving up, saying uncle or whatever, and they let go. But I've allowed myself to get in certain positions, like the omoplata, triangles, things of that nature, just to see how much strength and power I need to have to get out of this particular move. Omoplatas and things of that nature, honestly, I don't think I mean, you have to be extremely strong to keep in the omoplata. I mean, so I'm going to bust out of that no problem. And that just goes down to just pure strength, strength and power. Triangles. We have a very, very, very good uh, professor. All our professors are very good. But he's known for his triangles. He's known for having very fast legs, things of the nature. And he threw that triangle on me one time real fast. And I knew the steps to get out of it, but I wasn't able to think about it fast enough to implement those steps to get out. So he eventually did tap me out, but I stayed in the triangle long enough to see, excuse me, okay, how much strength do I need to get out of this? How long can I stay in this before it's unbearable? I know I need to tap. And could I simply use strength and power to get out of it? And the answer to that was yes. I could have just used pure raw strength to get out of it. In a real life situation, which I did. I picked him up very easily. I think he's maybe 200 pounds. I mean, I'm a 600 plus pound deadlifter. So it was absolutely nothing to pick him up. And I realized later, because after each roll, each match, I think about the whole roll, the whole thing, and I go through different steps of what I could have done better, what I could have did different, blah, blah, blah. So my biggest thing for that situation is I did not have enough training and the ability to really utilize the techniques fast enough to get out of the triangle. I could have used just brute force to get out of it, but it would have been easier to get out of it using strength and technique all at the same time, and that comes from years of training and that time to be able to do things without having to necessarily think about it. Back to this exercise here. I just went to the top grip, which is wherever the elbows track through the back is the area of the back is going to be working. So this here would be upper back, upper mid back, and this here would be lower back, which helps you get the whole entire back. But like I said, if you can control a person, you can control the distance. One time I was rolling with a younger guy. I think he was probably 18, and he was very light and very good technique though. But he was on me. He was doing his things and stuff, and I just wanted to create distance. So I literally just bench pressed him off of me. I probably used a little bit too much strength on him, but I pretty much kind of almost threw him across the whole room. I was on my back, he was up top of me. I just tossed him. When you think about doing that, what is that going to do to someone's mentality? I think he was probably maybe, I don't know, 165 pounds, 170 pounds maybe. But when you do someone like that, regardless if it's a real life situation or a competition, when you're able to bench press and throw somebody 4 or 5 feet off of you, obviously, which gives you the ability to get back up on your feet or whatever. What does that do to the person's mentality, their psyche? That right there knocks half of the fight out right there. So strength and power is absolutely needed in jiu-jitsu, in anything that you're doing, combat related. Even firearms training, if you have a very strong arm, very strong shoulders, and you're utilizing a full metal frame or a Glock type frame, you can hold that gun there in a stationary position longer, and your first shot, second shot, third shot is going to be more accurate and back on target than someone with a weaker arm, weaker wrist, weaker shoulders, because they're going to lose the endurance, they're going to lose the ability to stay still. So everything that you do, strength related or combative or anything like that, strength and power comes into play. We're gonna move on to the next exercise. All right, we're on this machine here. Now this is, I really don't know the proper name for this, but I just call it the rope machine. I really like this machine, and we just recently got this machine probably a few months ago here at this gym. And it just symbolizes you climbing up a rope. And you can really do it for a certain duration of time. I think anybody that has access to this machine, it's something similar, because my other gym has a machine just like this, but it's not quite the same, but same principle. But you do it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or however you want to do it for. And you can change with this machine, you can change where you're pulling from high up, you can change to pulling towards you and not just straight up and down like this, and so on. But the main reason I like this, especially for jiu-jitsu, is because of what it simulates. If somebody is mounting you or they're in your guard, this simulates the grabbing of the rope. For me, simulates grabbing the collar or the lapel. And being able to do that repeatedly with a certain level of strength, a certain level of power, to pull and control the opponent with one hand, two hands, or what have you, while you're trying to do a sweep or something as simple as a scissor kick or something like that. This machine, or a rope machine like this, really plays into the factor for that. Also, it helps, really strengthens the grip strength. Now, obviously, this is working my back, also my lats, my teres, minor rhomboids, and things of that nature. Probably not so much my rhomboids because my scapula is not opening and closing, but definitely my lats and my teres and my biceps. So this is a great machine for that. Over time, you're doing this for a minute, 2 minutes, you realize, or you'll see that your grip is getting fatigued through your forearms and your hands and stuff like that. And I make fun, well, not make fun, but I laugh to myself sometimes, and I call my hands now jiu-jitsu hands. Because I normally did exercises when I'm doing like like deadlifts, heavy rolls, dumbbell, or pull downs and stuff. I did that utilizing wraps, wrist wraps, that help you with the pulling exercises, because the weakest link to pulling is the hands, the grip. Because your grip's going to fail long before your back and your biceps and stuff like that give out. But now, since these exercises is primarily for jiu-jitsu, obviously you can't use grips and stuff like that in jiu-jitsu. So it's best to do these exercises now by utilizing just your hands. So that's going to increase your grip strength, your hand strength, your forearm strength in general. I've seen some videos where guys are utilizing machines to help their grip strength and stuff. Honestly, I think the best grip strength exercises you can do is holding isometric holds, just pure holding heavy weight for periods of time, or something like this is good. But really, if you're doing a deadlift, and you can do partial deadlifts or rack pulls, and hold that for a period of time, put it down, do it again, doing what's called, dead hangs, where you're in the pull-up position and you're just hanging there holding your body weight. I think personally those are the best ways to increase your grip strength, because what that's doing is increasing the strength and it's increasing the overall muscle endurance. All right, we're going to move on to the next exercise. Now we're back here. This is, I think what everybody else knows, pretty easy. It's just regular press. And I think the bench press is something that's also very, very needed in jiu-jitsu. Chest strength is paramount. And it's paramount because I think you need to have an overall complete package. Same thing, just like in bodybuilding, you want symmetry. I think you need symmetry of strength. You don't want to just be strong upper body and weak lower body. You don't want to just have a strong back and not a strong chest. You want to make sure everything is properly balanced. So you want to have strong arms, strong shoulders, strong chest, strong back, strong legs. Obviously, and all that's going to be in proportion to the muscle group. Obviously, shoulder muscles are smaller than the overall back muscles. Obviously, the chest muscles are a bigger muscle group than the smaller shoulders or the smaller triceps. So, everything's going to be in proportion to itself, but you want to make sure everything is strong, properly developed. Obviously, for jiu-jitsu, still keeping flexibility. So we're not training, we're not working out for size and in a sense or overdeveloped muscles. We're working out primarily for strength, conditioning, stamina, and yes, power. And power is more or less going to come from your overall size in general. But you want to have a certain level of strength that's going to separate you from your opponents. You may be the same weight. You might be 175 and your opponent's 175, or 200, 200, 220, 220. But if you have a 500-pound deadlift, a 300-pound bench press, or a 400-pound squat, and your opponent has maybe a 100-pound bench press or maybe a 200-pound squat or whatever, automatically you already have an upper hand because you're stronger. You can exert more force. So that means you have more ability to control his 220 or his 200 or his 175 better than he can control you. And that's the name of the game, honestly. Jiu-jitsu and any sport is having that edge, regardless if you're more athletic or you're stronger, you're faster. Is a reason why I say in the NFL they do the combine to see who has the upper hand in the strength and agility and department. Everybody that's 220 don't have the same abilities, so that's what they're doing. They're trying to separate those individuals based on their abilities. So when you get into a competition or a fight, your ability to exert more force, more power, more strength, speed, quickness, it's going to give you the upper hand. So we're doing, that's just too loud. We're doing bench press here, and on this particular machine, I really love it. This horse machine is old, but it's probably one of the best multi-station machines I've seen ever. It's very solid, it's very good. But for this, we're using the inside grip. On this machine, I don't necessarily like the outside grip because I feel for my body type, it puts a little bit too much unnecessary pressure on my shoulders. So I like to stay here. And we know that in a neutral position, we're stronger anyway. And I've, just in my short time of doing jiu-jitsu and just watching different jiu-jitsu documentaries, films, training things, going to different seminars. I've gone to one seminar in person and I've watched some. You're here a lot more than you are here. So I think concentrating on, all the full range of motion. Now I do some presses with my arms out like this, depending on the machine. This particular machine is not really good for my body type. But here we're powerful, and like I said before, I was rolling with a guy, younger guy. I'd give him about 175, and I just pressed him off, kind of like offensive lineman do what they call a punch, when they fire off the line. That's basically what I did to him. And then what it did is gave me a lot of space because I threw him across the mat. But in a self-defense situation, that may be the difference between life and death or severe injury or whatnot, because that just gave you distance. Distance is your best friend. When you're real close, it's very hard for people to do anything to you unless they start going to submissions and things of that nature. And if they're far away, there's really nothing they can do to you. So you want to make sure that you're doing the things that's going to benefit you and that's going to help you in the long run, that's going to aid you in being better in whatever's you're doing, be that jiu-jitsu, judo, karate, whatnot. Once again, like I said, power and strength is a must-have in these sports, combative sports, self-defense or combative sports like jiu-jitsu. And for this exercise, I would stay, same thing, I would stay around 15 to 20. Because like I said, we're not necessarily trying to build big, bulky chests, because we still want to be able to, have flexibility and things of that nature. I like to say muscle roadblocks. There was a time when I was, I guess at my heaviest, I was about 270, getting ready for a competition. And it was hard to, I couldn't do this. It was hard to scratch my back. Sometimes I still have to assist or whatever. But what happens is your muscle development gets so pronounced where your bicep stops your stops your forearm from allowing your hand to get down because your biceps, say, may be too big. But we're not trying to develop that type of bulky muscle, because we still need a certain range of motion. We need a certain flexibility. We need to be able to move in certain ways and get in certain positions. And having overdeveloped muscles may prevent that. I still kind of have that issue with my legs, and I've always pretty much had fairly big legs, but my legs were real big. I still have right at 28-inch quads. So certain things I noticed, my hamstrings are real big and developed in my calves. So when I try to do certain moves, my hamstring and calf creates a roadblock where I cannot flex my leg a few more degrees to do certain things. So I have to work around that. So you have to also think about that. So and I'm down to about 220 now. So you have to think about that. You have to make adjustments and stuff like that, change your game up to suit you properly for wins and whatnot. But my legs are real strong, so if I want to create more distance, if I want to do a butterfly sweep, if I want to do a scissor sweep, which most people don't get caught in those too often, I can do them because I have very strong legs. If I want to hold somebody in my closed guard, I can hold them there pretty long time, and then utilizing different pulls and stuff with my hands, depending on where I grab the lapel and stuff like that. I can keep them wherever I want to keep them, strength and power. So we're gonna move on to a couple other exercises, and I'm gonna cut it short because I don't want this video to be terribly long. I know it's pretty long already, but yeah. We're up here on the free weight side with the free weights, which is downstairs. We've been upstairs on the first parts of the video. But we're going to do some basic dumbbell rows. Like I said, I love doing that. Strong back for me, just being means everything else is going to be strong. Outside of doing legs, I would say back is my favorite. But the days of doing extremely heavy leg days are pretty much over now because I'm not trying to build 30-inch legs. I'm trying to sustain 30-inch legs. Just right now, it's illogical to have that, especially for jiu-jitsu. And like I said, I need to be building more flexibility and things of that nature. And having 30-inch legs is tough for flexibility purposes and things of that nature. And for the flexibility needed in jiu-jitsu. But having a strong, dense back, I think, is very good for jiu-jitsu because when you're down on your back, you want to have a strong base when you're on your back, strong foundation, and then being able to pull, push, and move and things of the nature through your arms, shoulders, and back, I think is very necessary. Because if you can keep your opponent close to you, especially in competition, real close to you for a period of time while they're trying to fight to get away from your grips, trying to get away from, say, your chest and things of that nature, and you're able to hold them there for a period of time, they're going to utilize a lot of energy to be trying to get away. And if you have enough strength and stamina to hold them there for a period of time, you start to, once again, take away their will to continue, at least continue trying to do whatever move or submission attempt that they're trying to do. So overall, the name of the game is to, honestly, obviously you need a certain level of technique, but from what I'm saying, the name of the game is to be stronger, obviously more powerful, but stronger in the area of strength in all areas, directions, from top position, side position, body position, and have the superior stamina in the sense of muscle endurance. If like I said, if you can hold a person in a certain position for a period of time, or give them the illusion that they are moving under their will, but you're literally just allowing and coaching them to go this direction, then you have the upper hand. And by doing that, you can control them and allow them to move where you're comfortable for them to move and how you want them to move, while you are working on your game, working on what you need to do. If it's a single leg, you're trapping a single leg, you got them in, I guess you would say, half guard. You're locking that leg in and you're working yourself up. You're putting your foot on their hip or whatever. You're getting ready to do a sweep. You're getting ready to roll them over or whatever. If you have enough strength and stamina, muscle endurance to basically control the fight, I mean, you've already more than halfway defeated the person. So we're gonna do some rolls here, just like so. Now, that was just 60 pounds. What I'm looking here for is a full stretch to feel the lat on either side, stretching and feeling the contraction. I've done dumbbell rows all the way up to 150 pounds, no problem, from reps of 15 to 20. But once again, we're not necessarily looking for an extremely thick, extremely big back. What we're trying to do is we're trying to keep strength and power within the back. So utilize the 60s. I will move up throughout the sets. I'll probably end with the 100-pound dumbbells for my last set. But it's still staying 15 to 20 reps because, like I said, muscle strength, muscle endurance is the name of the game. And now, sometimes I even work up to doing from 15 to 20 to maybe even 20 to 30 reps to increase even more muscle endurance. But the main thing is, like I said, is we're trying to concentrate on muscle strength and endurance and stamina. That way, if you're at practice, rolling with a few guys this past Wednesday, we do what's called sweep, pass, and cement, where traditionally one of the senior guys, a higher belt guy, be on the bottom. You're getting down there with them, and you're being their close guard. You're the person that's in the guard. Purpose is to cement or pass the person's guard or cement. And the person on the bottom's thing is to sweep you or to cement you. So I think this was the longest I've gone. Let's say I think I went through 7 different rolls. And each roll, I guess I'd say, lasted probably 2 up to 5 minutes each. And we're just going, we're doing this for a period of like 25 minutes. And it's just constant. There's no stopping. So you lose, you get back in the wall, you jump back in with the next person that's available. But if you win, you stay out there on the mat. Stay out there on the mat. So I lost. I got swept twice. I got swept twice and went through seven tries. So 5 of those times I was just out there. And like I said, I don't really get tired. It's just something that just don't get tired at least in that environment. But the thing is, when I felt I need to rest, all I did was I just held them in a position where I wanted them to be and just didn't let them go. Or I held them one place, I moved them one place, I pushed them away, I pulled them away. I did several things to set up what I was comfortable with doing with my very limited knowledge. So I utilized my strengths, which is my strength and power and muscle stamina and endurance. And then I went into, my very small container of techniques, and that's what I did. And I utilized those techniques with my strength and endurance. And by doing so, it worked. Now, I got swept by a 4-stripe. I think he's a 3-stripe blue belt. So he's been doing it quite a bit longer than I have. So it only makes sense that he swept. But this was probably my 4th time going with him, and I was able to last much longer this time than the first couple of times. Because the first couple of times I solely used strength and power, and he used technique, and he was able to overwhelm my strength and power, and was able to sweep me, get me off balance, use physics. Jiu-jitsu is about physics. But this time I was able to use my strength and technique to to basically defend his sweeps, to defend his attempted submissions and things of that nature. And he finally did catch me in a sweep. So it just goes to show the more technique, the more information, more knowledge you have, all that does is aid and help with your strength and stamina. So if you already have the technique and the knowledge and understanding, and you incorporate the strength attribute in it, it's only going to make you even much better. But if you already have the strength, conditioning, understanding on how to build strength, endurance, muscle, and you're able to design a program specifically to help you with jiu-jitsu, and now you start to each week, each day, add on technique and stuff for jiu-jitsu, you're gonna, I think, you're gonna progress in jiu-jitsu much faster than someone that's just there trying to learn the technique. Jiu-jitsu is probably jiu-jitsu and I would say judo are the two systems that's got very, very prestigious belt systems. Traditionally, on average, it takes a person 10 years to get a black belt. But there are several people that have gotten their black belts in 3 years. One gentleman, his name escapes me, got his in 18 months. But he was already world-renowned in judo, other sports and combat systems like wrestling, judo, things of this nature. So it wasn't just some guy off the couch that got his black belt that fast. But you're talking about people that can and have gotten their black belts in 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. But on average, in general, it normally takes 10 years. But I think if you have a fairly athletic background, know how to incorporate strength training and things of that nature into your overall system, and you're somebody that's determined and have the discipline to learn, to apply, and to utilize properly the techniques of jiu-jitsu, and you're willing and able to put in the mat time, I can see being able to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 5 years. So I'm saying I have a goal of getting my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 5 years. I think it's achievable. I think I can do it. Barring no injuries and things of that nature. I'm going to start trying to do competitions very soon. Probably be first of the year. I want to have a good 6 months, 7 months of training under my belt, get some stripes on my white belt, build a fairly good game before I start competing. But I'm setting a goal for myself to be able to achieve black belt through Gracie Baha's in Jiu-Jitsu in 5 years. And we'll see how it goes. But we're going to cut the video here. The next videos will be a little bit better put together in the sense of they'll be a little shorter, a little less talking. I just wanted to kind of throw out my thought process and philosophy around this in this video. And but the next videos will be a little shorter and show a little bit more of the exercises and things of that nature. Definitely stretching and other warm-ups. I'm going to do dynamic warm-ups. Utilize some track we have upstairs to help open up the hips even more, so I can show more stretching and things of that nature in the next video. But yeah, we're going to get out of here. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July.